As I think about the centennial, it is an opportunity for us to think back to our past and the sense of ambition and vision with which the university was founded, to take note of our present in terms of what we're contributing to the world, and then, especially now that we've embarked on this sort of strategic initiative, to take a bold look into the future. And I think that's on several different levels. It's on a very specific level about Rice, and it's on a sort of broader level about, for example, what's happening in higher education. And this is a time, I would say, of great change and consternation in higher education. So as I think about the centennial, one of the things I really worry about is, have we made, and this isn't just about the kind of publicity that we hope that Linda will bring to what we're doing, and frankly the public affairs folks are trying every day to make sure we bring to people's attention, but really garnering some recognition for the difference that Rice has made in the world. That ultimately is the case that we make for our university. And I think as we focus on celebration, I think we have to keep in mind that first and foremost, we are an intellectual endeavor. And that means making a difference in the education of our students and making a difference in the world around us. That means taking note of the things that have been done at Rice. And of course, we're all familiar with the sort of buckyball example, and we use that, I think, over and over again as an example of a real difference we have made. But I think we have to sort of go back into our history and revisit things. I see Sid Burris sitting there. I include digital signal processing as one of those things where we have made a real difference in the world and the things that people experience every day in the world. I think we have to go back and remind people of those contributions. So the sense that Rice, even if small, is a competitor in intellectual contributions to our world. And so I think our history is one of both sort of taking pride in what we have achieved at this university and identifying those things. And I think we have, in essence, since I wasn't here, I don't know whether Linda talked about it, this sort of sense of the as Linda likes to put it, the unconventional wisdom that Rice has contributed to the world. But I would say, more specifically, the things we have contributed, the ideas, the discussions, the things that have happened here, the people we have produced, all who have made a distinctive impact in the world. And that ought to be a core part of what we celebrate with the centennial and remind people of. This is a time where we should not, in my view, be too shy about blowing our own horn. I don't know how many of you read the little piece that was in Kiplinger's, and which I was identified as not being able to remember my Dr. Seuss, which I resented. And the reporter, I'm curious, how many of you have seen this story? We should probably get this out. I mean, it's a sort of an example of the best publicity is, with all respect, I mean, paid media may be an important part, but the best is actually when you convince somebody to actually write the story that you would have paid for if they'd asked you. But it just turned out to be the story they wanted to write. And the story that was written in Kiplinger, anyway, all this goes back to sort of my reference to the Dr. Seuss story of Horton Hears a Who. We're a small university located not in one of the media capitals of the country. And that means we have to really be shouting the things for which we want to be recognized. So I think when that comes back to the centennial, that it's very important with the celebration of beauty and boldness that we be celebrating, identifying, acknowledging, I think both in a very general sense, the role that higher education plays in contributing the brilliance that drives our nation, frankly, and contributes to the world, and very specifically to identify for Rice both what we have achieved in the past and what we aspire to do for the future. I continue to believe the two most important audiences for that, which isn't to say the other audiences are unimportant, are our community here in Houston, who sometimes simply, frankly, takes us a little bit for granted. And we see an increasing competition in Houston for people's attention and eyeballs, and if we think we can compete for that by being silent, we will be wrong. And our alumni base, which needs to continue to be energized by what they see as the true extraordinary character of the university. And I think that's really what Brilliance was intended to capture, is not just we're a good university, not just that we're a really good university, but that we are an extraordinary place making extraordinary contributions across a range of endeavors.